Hello, everybody. Welcome to this scuffed little developer commentary I'm doing for Fatsona Breakout version 0.3. Now, reason why I'm saying it's scuffed is because, one, I've never done this before, two, I don't have a script, so I'm just kind of going into it. But hopefully I could show off, some of the systems, talk about the game a little bit. I know for a lot of you, this will be like the first time seeing gameplay of it, and I don't know. I think that a video showing off the game is a lot more cohesive than just a bunch of blog posts. So, you guys deserve it on Fatsona Day. And, well, happy Fatsona Day. It's February 21st at the time of recording and posting. And, 1 year ago today, I formally announced the game to you all. So, I just want to show off what I've been doing in this year of development. And, yeah, hopefully give some insight into the direction of the game and get you guys excited. Well, this is version 0.3. At the time of recording, this isn't actually available to anyone yet, but I will be posting it later in the day. It is the latest build, and I've been working on it for a few months now. It's the biggest build. And, I just want to go over the gameplay systems that this build features, because they're really freaking cool. First and foremost is the Persona system. It's just probably the most robust gameplay system in Fatsona. So in this build, I feature 15 Personas. In the final game, I'm planning 65, and these Personas range from anywhere between actually established Personas in the series to returning Personas. To some original ones. And it's just a cool little creative outlet that feeds into the gameplay loop really well. And there's also, some cameos like Blasty, Loparian is Bunny Bra's kind of OC race, I suppose. Anyways, so what these personas are is during the gameplay, they will give you abilities that you could use to kind of speed it along. And this loadout system, which is entirely new to this build of the game, allows you to pick up to 3 of them and kind of mix and match these passive abilities so you could really specialize your playstyle. You unlock these personas as you just progress through different characters' levels, so you'll get them at a pretty consistent rate, and it'll be fun to kind of mix it all together. And whether you want like a full waifu team or just like something truly optimal, it's just a nice, fun little system. Let me clear it up here real quick. There we go. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of personas right now. None of them are especially chonky ladies, and you see here I don't have renders for all of them, so I kind of just colored some emojis in all honesty, and these two are just sketches that I put a white background on, but when it's all nice and done, it'll be really polished. And yeah, so that's the loadout system. I'll go more in depth of that when I'm actually making a team to play with. The Showtime system was a system introduced a couple builds ago, I believe, but it was heavily reworked for this build. Basically, it gives passive benefits as you progress through the set, and it's based on how good you do. So, in contrast to the Persona loadout passives, which you should always have access to, maybe there's a special condition that you need to reach, but you always have access to them. The Showtime tiers you have to reach by not taking damage for a while, or just destroying bricks really quick. So it rewards really good, fast gameplay, and in some cases it could be the difference between winning and losing. Now, the cool thing about Showtime is that the third tier of it is a special attack unique to each different element of her persona. So you see Pixie is Thunder, she has a big lightning bolt that comes down the screen. Holy Smoke is Bless, turns into like a cross that could be flied around. I don't have some of them in this build, as I stated here. But no, it's really cool. It's like a nice little ultimate move for doing well. It's very rewarding. Hopefully I'll get to show that off soon here. And the last system that I want to go over for player mechanics, at least for now, is the items. Now I have a lot more items coded, but because of this cool little persona right here, which changes the items coding like entirely, I can only include 3 in this build. But it's basically a single-use ability that is really powerful, and well, there's going to be a whole shop dedicated to it, and it's just a nice little addition to really make your loadout feel personal, and you could really specialize. I kind of have 2 really basic items here that just give max HP and max SP. So maybe not so much specialize in this build, but in general, it's a really cool thing to have access to, because maybe your loadout is just missing that little something, and then having this timed ability that you need to like carefully plan when to use, it's cool. Well, anyways, that might be a little overwhelming if you're not familiar with anything in this game, but hopefully I'll be able to explain it more as I go into the levels. And I'll go over everything that's new in this build as I kind of play through the levels. So here's the character select screen. Now, normally you wouldn't have any of these characters unlocked. You would just have Haru. You start out with Haru. But for this build, because I want testing to be, very smooth, I just have every character unlocked. And, well, these are the characters that I considered portionable to the early game. So if you noticed, I put a little yellow asterisk next to the personas up to set rating 3. And those are the ones that I recommend to use for this build, balance-wise, because these kind of just destroyed instantly, but it's alright. I'm just gonna hop into the set and kind of show you guys some gameplay. I feel like I'm missing a lot of beats here, but that's alright, we're just gonna keep going. So this is the set. There's a lot to unpack here. This is your item. This is your showtime. This shows how much money you have. You gain money through the set by just doing things. This is your persona's type. This is your persona loadout rating, which I'll get to later. This is the ability of your persona. This is autocast. It casts your ability automatically if it can. This is SP. You gain SP by hitting bricks. 1 brick hit equals 1 SP. This is your HP. You have 100. This is the time limit. This is the current level. This is the difficulty, which is kind of a complicated formula, but basically the more stars there are, the longer it'll take to destroy the bricks. This is the 3 attack system, which is new and awesome. It tells you in seconds. Well, it's not ticking down right now because I haven't launched the ball yet. It tells you in seconds how long until the next attack is. And Haru here has 3 attacks. And then down here is just a little legend for elemental resistances for the character. So Haru is psychic and gun type, which means that she resists these 2 types, but she's weak to nuke and physical. And right here is the set extra counter, which I'll just show off by launching. So you see how that flower kind of formed? Every character has a different sort of gimmick. I'm calling them set gimmicks that just affect their levels. So Haru spawns these flowers, which the ball bounces off of. And there's the first attack. I kind of dropped the ball to show you all there. But yeah, at the core of it, this is not a very complicated game. Oh, poison's cool, because you have to catch it. At the core of it, this is not a very complicated game. The whole reason this is a breakout game, in fact, is because it's, easy to code. But hopefully, all the gameplay systems and mechanics can make it fun. I think it's a pretty fun game. So this is me using the abilities there. That's me dashing, which is another cool thing. So, say I'm over here, platform's over here. Look at that. You could also dodge projectiles like that. Yeah, well, I have a little pink ring around my ball to show that I'm full on SP, so I'm just going to toggle autocast and let it do its thing. As you can see, my showtime's filling up pretty well, actually. That's just because I'm taking a while. Ooh, if I don't hit this brick for a while, actually, I might get to show you the showtime move. So it fills up over time, and it gets bigger increments when you destroy bricks. Yeah, well, here we go. So a little underwhelming because it was one hit away from destruction, but that just shows, you know, it's there. Well, so that's, I guess, a little overview of all the mechanics. It's not that complicated once you get a grasp on it, and there's definitely a learning curve and more to unpack, especially with the Persona loadout rating, so I guess I'll get into that now. Let me just assemble a little bit of a team here. Alright, there we go. So, loadout I have right now, because I'm doing Haru's levels, if I get poisoned, I'll get 1 SP per second. I'm going with Pixie so I don't take any damage when I drop the ball, and I can heal myself. And I'm going to have Blasty, so if I get my Showtime move, I'll, be able to summon Shy, which is, a lovely little lady. And you see, as I assign more personas to my slots, my persona loadout rating increased. So what this formula is the rating of your primary persona plus half of these 2 secondary personas. So you can see the rating up here. These 3 are 1, these 3 are 2, these 3 are 3, these 3 are 4, these 3 are 5. So it goes up to 10. You could have 5 up here, 5, 5, 5 plus 5, 10 divided by 2, that's 5. Maximum of 10. And you unlock new mechanics every time this goes up. It's a cool progression system because you only gain personas based on beating levels. So it's more dynamic than just simply getting level up, but it still has that same sort of progression idea where you won't get access to like all the mechanics at once, Anyways, my persona loadout rating is 2 now. So I have access to something really freaking cool that I want to show you guys. So we're going into Haru's second level. Every character has 5 levels, or every standard character at least. We can see that she's going to start with a gun attack, and difficulty's still the same, but now we have a new brick, which has double the HP, but is approximately 5 times the size. So let's just get into it. Oh yeah, well, as you can see, my persona loadout rating is 2. And I want to ask you something. If you've ever played a Breakout game, what is the worst part of it? For me, the worst part of Breakout games is when your ball kind of just goes nowhere. Maybe there's only a few bricks left, and you just keep on hitting it, but it just won't go where you want it to go. So, at Persona Loadout Rating 2, fairly early on, you get access to a cool little mechanic called Direct Slicing. I'll show it off here. If you press spacebar, oh, it's kind of tight, but if you press spacebar, right before the ball hits the platform, you're able to direct it with the arrow keys, as such. It's me using the heal there. I'm actually gonna get hit by the poison. I just realized this, this loadout is probably not the best because getting SP for heal is not that cool. But yeah, direct slicing is awesome. It takes that random element out of the game, and you get it super early on, so you're able to learn it and perfect it for pretty much any loadout you want. It's kind of cool trying to time your spacebar presses to when the ball is about to hit the platform. It's really narrow. There is some things to make the input time a little more lenient. Well, that's a little lame of a showcase. I got my showtime at the very end again. Hopefully that'll stop happening as I get to, higher levels, higher difficulties. I'm gonna go Holy Smoke in the primary slot, so just, I get some use out of this ability from Lamia. Ooh. Maybe I should show off, yeah, I'll show that off. So let me assign Hamsa to, Praxis? Yeah, there we go. No, actually, the low period, because the Braxis is primary. Secondary ability is way too cool. Anyways, now I have Persona Loadout rating 3, and I'll go over that mechanic. What that mechanic is. This is Haru's 3rd level. And I'm really excited about this. So before Third Eye in previous builds was just simply a way to accelerate or decelerate your ball, which I thought was cool, you know. Being able to control when the ball moves faster or slower really gave you a lot of, control over how the level plays out. Like you could be more offensive or defensive. But the problem with it was it didn't really feel like it did anything at times. And it was really disruptive. The optimal way to use it was to kind of just spam it. And because of the visual effect that Third Eye gives, it was just really disruptive. And I got a lot of people not too sure about its effectiveness. So for Persona Loadout rating 3, I decided to rework the Third Eye. And in this build, let me just get a direct slice going so I can show it off. When activating Third Eye, you're able to phase through bricks. Now you have a meter showing how many times you could do it, but there's a lot of use cases for this. You could go straight to the top, and if you've ever played a Breakout game before, you will know the top of the set is where you want to be. And with how SP works in this game, where you get it on every single hit, it can really, really add up. I'm sticking with Persona Loadout rating 3, just so I could talk a little bit more about the characters, because I feel like I'm going too much into the game mechanics right now, but hey, that's what I've been focusing on. So, watch this. Oh, well, the flowers eat the Third Eye. It should be noted. So, you see the little meter down there? It kind of works like, if you ever played Overwatch Diva's Defense Matrix, where you can deplete it all the way, but there's a little threshold that you need to activate it. It recharges pretty slowly, and it drains pretty fast, so you have to be mindful when you use it, but it gives you a lot of control where you want the ball to be, which is just another really large fundamental thing that typical Breakout games are lacking, you know? So that was sort of the big focus with all these gameplay mechanics, just to make Breakout interesting and make it more fair, more skill-oriented, more player-focused, more player-oriented. Because if you ever played Breakout, Atari Breakout, or just like the Google Image one, you'll know that it's not a very complicated game. Definitely not something that you'd want to be playing for hours on end, like I planned for Fatsona to run on, so. Having a regular system of progression through unlocking more personas, having some player customization with the loadouts, and the items, and the showtimes. It's just really fun. I find it really enjoyable. And looking back on the year of work that's gotten it to this point, it makes me really happy with the state of it. I'd say in terms of gameplay, the game is almost done, which is insane. Because, that's a big half of the game. I've mentioned this before in other blog posts if you've been keeping up with it, but this year of development was really focused on the Breakout side of Fatsona Breakout, because I think that getting the gameplay right is really important. No discredit to any of the other fetish games out there, but, most of them are RPG Maker games, and the others don't really feel like games at all. Which is fine. The main appeal of a fetish game is the fetish content, but I think for Fatsona Breakout, it was really important because of how, immense and long-running it's going to be in comparison to those other games, that the gameplay loop is fun and feeds directly into the fetish content of the game. And it's crazy that I'm just now bringing up the fetish content of the game, because we're on level 5 of the first character. But essentially how I plan it to work out is that every time you click play, it brings you to a social event where you interact with the character. If you ever played Persona 5 or you're familiar with it, you'll know what these social events are like, except it'll be in a fetish context, And Then it'll take you to the Breakout event, and the next time you do the social event, the character will, progress. I think it's a really good gameplay loop. Hypothetically, of course, I don't have any social events implemented, but the problem with feederism games is that it's hard to reward weight gain progression because, usually it's debilitating. In theory, if you're making a 2D platformer with a girl that gains weight, she's gonna get worse the more you gain weight, right? She's gonna get slower. She's gonna jump less high. It's good that the gameplay loop of Fatsona rewards being good at the game with fetish content. I think that makes a lot of sense. Now, I didn't talk about Haru's character at all, which I wanted to, so I'll mention it in Anne's early levels, but this is the 5th level, and every character's last level, their 5th level, has something cool called an all-out attack at the end. So aside from these 3 basic attacks that have stayed the same throughout the levels, every character also has an all-out attack, which is just a big array of special moves right at the end of the set. And there in the bottom right corner, I think it happened before, but you saw Loparian's secondary ability trigger, where if you take damage, you get to do more damage for a brief period of time. I'll show you a cool loadout with that in a second. Yeah, for Ants, I'll have a little more exciting of a loadout. I just wanted to keep it sort of realistic to the progression. Even though you probably wouldn't have access to the 3rd eye at this point in the game. Man. So you see, the difficulty for this level was 2. So all those bricks had effectively double health than what they had in previous levels. So this is her all-out attack. It's just a big barrage of attacks that you have to react to. And you see, I triggered poison there, so now the war cry is going crazy. I'm actually going to cure that with my item. But that might give you a little bit of insight into what loadout I might be going for. Because all of those war cries give passive buffs. Now, I've done this all-out attack a billion times, so it's no trouble for me, but don't feel compelled to be as amazing of a gamer as I am. Well, anyways, let me make a little more capable team. I want to show off Abraxas. He's one of my favorites. Oh, yes. There's also 4 unique elements in this game. So on top of all the regular ones like Bless, Elec, Physical, Nuke, I have 4 unique ones, which are Force, Earth, Void, and Divine. All these are a little special. Force and Earth are more like the regular elements that you're used to, but their projectiles have some special properties. So Force restores SP every time it gets a hit. I don't have any Earth projectile or Earth personas in this build, but those projectiles destroy other projectiles, so it's more defensive. Force is more offensive. Void is cool. Void is basically just Curse Plus. Void resists all elements, except for Almighty and Divine, and its projectiles also move bricks, and if the brick reaches the top of the screen, it just is instantly destroyed. Divine. The Brax is not a Divine persona, but Divine is strong against everything. So it always targets the weakness, except for Almighty, and against itself, I believe. So, yeah, I'll be using Abraxas because just the ability is really cool. But he is an electric persona with a divine move called Glory. I'll keep Loparian. I like Loparian. But now we see that Haru is done. Took me 637 seconds. It's kind of neat. This button doesn't work. Make sure you yell. Anyways, this is Anne. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about Haru's whole story premise and her time skip redesign with Anne, because I forgot to do it. So basically, I'm going for I'm going really big on accuracy here. Um, I'm talking to a lot of people about the story of Persona 5, and I'm just trying to make it as accurate and feasible as possible because I think that'll add to the overall premise and plot a lot if it's very accurate. If it's not just kind of these characters on top of a sort of typical story. So Haru is a tricky character to kind of imagine what will happen to in a few years because, she has a lot going on in her life, by the end of Strikers. So I guess I should say first, Fatsona Breakout takes place 4 years after Persona 5 Strikers. Um, let me use the ability. Look how fucking cool it is. You can move it around with the arrow keys. And there's the showtime again, right at the end. So, yeah, it's a little tricky to figure out where Haru's life would go after Strikers, 4 years after Strikers, You see her in university last time you interact with her. And, she has aspirations to open up a cafe. She wants to keep involved with the business. So I figured that, following the events of Persona 5, Persona 5 Strikers, Haru would definitely have more of a sense of self-worth. And I think that she would definitely want to pursue her dreams, I think that she wouldn't really want to be stuck being like the head of Big Bang Burger. She's definitely still going to be involved, but I don't think she's going to want to take charge. I think she's going to want to do her own thing. So what I have her as in Fatsona, in the story of Fatsona, is she's kind of just fresh out of university, and she actually bought out the failing maid cafe in Shibuya and kind of renovated it into the sort of bakery slash cafe shop that she always wanted. So she's really happy, and her weight gain progression premise is that she doesn't want to like really taste test her food. She just is really eager to put it out there. It isn't really, giving it the thought of that. So you just kind of show up and you help her out with that, and the rest is history. And her time skip redesign is definitely more drastic than Haru. I don't think I even have to explain it. It just kind of looks like something she'd wear normally. Made her hair a little bigger. Anne's is more drastic, of course. But, she's kind of a fancy person. I don't think she'd want to look the same as she did in high school. So this is Anne either finishing up or done with university. And, well, she has her own line of clothing now, which has this sort of chic but cheap-ish vibe to it. Like she's going for a demographic like, hey, you don't have to spend a lot of money to have this sort of prestigious line, And she gets a lot of criticism for that, but she spends a lot of her time managing that. She's still deeply involved with fashion, but she kind of dropped out of being a model because of all the stresses of keeping up with that and university, which I think makes sense. She has a panther pendant that she had custom made. Oh, check this out. Wow. I wonder if that's going to be in any other level. So she had that panther pendant custom made because she is kind of missing the days of, being with the Phantom Thieves, working together, being a team. After Strikers, everyone's lives kind of just takes off, I imagine. Shit. Okay, that was a bug. Again, this is only the this is only version 0.3, folks. So not the complete product at all. The ball will not be stuck in the wall. Future builds, hopefully. Anyways, after Strikers, everyone's lives kind of just picks up. So at the start of Fatsona, it's kind of like the perfect excuse for everyone to get together again. You go back to Shibuya, and they all, reunite, and Anne's really excited about that, because she kind of just, longs for those days. I put her hair down because I think while the twin tails are iconic, again, Anne is kind of just fancy pants. But she's also, you know, casual, so I have her in baggy jeans and a tank top. Oh, and a whatever these are called, beauty mark. It just fucking looks good, man. It could technically happen. I think it just adds a little bit of flair. This is supposed to be a coat. I don't know why I put the. Both of these drawings are really old, and the Futaba one is too. But pretty much Anne's story is that she's just tired of like the modeling industry, sort of screwing up her love for sweets. She really kind of stopped with her whole sweet thing after Strikers because of sort of the stigma against it in the community that she's involved with. And, you know, so meeting up with you again makes her nostalgic for the times that she used to, like, go crazy for crepes or whatever. But she's, like, sad that her perspective on that has changed. So, you know, you kind of just soften that part of her life up for her. And that's the general idea for her progression. I only have these sort of quick summaries off the top of my head prepared, but this stories will definitely be more deep and realistic by the time I actually come to make them. And with that, we're on to Anne's last level. Abraxas is blowing through all these. I know I haven't been talking about the loadouts a lot, but the little yellow effect when the ball gets near the platform is perihelion triggering. The bottom right is, again, Lapirian triggering, and I'm sure you've seen me use Glore a few times. I'm going to go Hamsa here, and I'm going to pop on Wojtek, which is, I'm surprised, not a Persona in the regular series. I'm also going to get Seth. I know that he's above the recommended level, but his secondary is really cool, and it gives me just enough Persona loadout rating to show you another cool mechanic for this last level here. I hope I've been filling the space with this commentary good enough. Like I said, I've never done anything like this before. And yeah, that's Seth's secondary. He will fly around the screen for you and deal damage to any bricks that he overlaps. And there was Wojtek's secondary ability. Every time he reaches Showtime tier, a mortar will fall from the screen and instantly destroy a brick. It is awesome. It is probably my favorite secondary. Now, Hamsa's ability is pretty cool. I'll show it off here. So you launch a little Psychic Orb and you reactivate it. And it creates a little damaging field. Here's the Psychic Showtime, just to wrap it up. I'm getting these Showtimes really, really freaking early, but that's just because these are all early levels, you know. This is... literally the second character of the game. I planned for there to be 16 characters. Standard characters, at least. There will be more. This is going to be a very large game. But, kind of lost train of thought. Well, I hope you're enjoying this. This is fun. I like talking. Maybe I'll do more of these in the future, if this goes well. I say it like I'm wrapping up the video. There's still a lot to go through. We're going on to Futaba's set now. I'm gonna give Wojtek as my primary persona. No, I'll do Lapirian. Lapirian's ability is cool. And I'll also get... oh, whatever. Oh, shit. There we are. So yeah, we're going on to Futaba now. A little bit about her character. So her time skip redesign is very dramatic. One of the most dramatics, aside from Shiho's, probably. But, you know, I figured the 4 years, sort of from high school into your adult life are very transformative. And I think it's not unrealistic to, you know, have a character after 4 years look kind of completely different. Especially a character like Futaba, who gets a lot of growth throughout, the series. You see her in like Akihabara towards the end of Persona 5, getting a game by herself. In Strikers, she's a lot more confident, a lot more sociable. I think after going through high school, starting to attend university, she would be a lot more confident in herself and have a lot more of a social identity. I don't really have a character premise for her like I do for Haru and Makoto, but it's sort of going to be going off of this whole premise of like, she has matured a lot. She's still Futaba, of course. I tried to incorporate some elements of that, the earbuds, the pins on her backpack. She's a little fierce pin right there, which is Anne's whole thing. That one only took 294 seconds. You see what the difference personas make? But yeah, so... Oh, and about her hair. Her hair is an orange, guys. It is black, and she dyes it. So, yeah, screw you. I don't have too much to say about Futaba's character other than that, because I haven't written anything. It's that simple. But I think that it's really interesting to explore, what might be realistic for these characters in a few years, outside of just kind of boring, like, hey, this is them, but, I tacked on 4 years. So, Futaba's set gimmick is kind of cool. I didn't go over Anne's set gimmick, but it was basically that thing of fire that appeared at the bottom of the screen every once in a while. Hers are boulders, which you would recognize if you ever played Persona 5. They're the same boulders from her palace. And these are physical objects that appear on the set that will deal damage as they fall. So you have to be careful what bricks break. Now, I'm probably the best person at this game. So if you give this build a try and you're getting fucked, just appreciate how good I am. Because these boulders can be pretty tricky. Now, this is a pretty cool level. So as you can see, there's the silver key in here, which opens these silver gates. And, there's these 3 boulders here. So you kind of have to be careful where the ball goes. Maybe you'll want to use some third eye or direct slicing. I just realized that I never went over what the 5th tier of Persona loadout rating gives. 4th tier gives the follow-up, which I'm not too happy with in its current state. I'll probably be reworking that soon. But the 5th tier gives something called Soul Stimulant, which is down here. So let me just show you. So you need to get some SP up first. And as you hold X, you will drain your SP and add it to the Soul Stimulant. Now what Soul Stimulant does, it's in very punctuated tiers, and you lose it whenever you drop the ball, so I just lost all my Soul Stimulant there. It is a very large risk reward system, where the more you put into it, the more SP you will get on brick impact. So at tier 1, I will get 2 SP instead of 1. At tier 3, I'll get 3 SP instead of, 1. And you can see different smoke effects based on what tier I'm at. It goes up to 5, but for Persona loadout rating 5, it only goes up to 3. I think it gets a boost at level 8. Persona loadout rating level 8. It is the solution to not being able to do enough damage fast enough, because the difficulty ramps up a lot. In testing, at least. These are all the early characters, so probably won't need to optimize Soul Stimulant, but it's a pretty cool late game player mechanic that allows you to sort of build up an economy mid-game. It takes a lot of thinking, but once you get it, it feels pretty good. And there are things to, go against the thing where if you drop it, you kind of lose it all. Like there's the undroppable Showtime, or Abraxas, Perihelion draws in the ball, so you just get close to the ball and you won't drop it. I'll be putting Seth in the main tier. I'm going to start using some stronger personas because, you know, it's fun. I coded them for a reason. Alright. Here it is. Futaba's 4th level. I used to have a boulder in the middle here, but it would clip into these gates and rise to the top, so I had to remove it. And I also should disable that before I put the build out. If you click on a brick, it instantly destroys. God damn it. Alright. Can't script that, folks. So, Seth is my primary persona now. And as you can see, his secondary ability is still active. As it is for all primary personas, they get their secondary abilities. But Seth's is cool, because you need him to use your primary ability. Let me show you. So, that's me activating the primary ability. Now he's breathing fire, just like that. Isn't that something? So that's 40 fireballs, each dealing 1 damage. So that's about, I don't know, a bazillion damage. There's not much to say about this level. I like it. I didn't really go over it when I should have, but there's keys on opposite sides and big bricks locked away in these different color-coded gates, so if I get one more hit, I'll be able to use Seth again, just to finish it up. There we are. And here's Futaba's last level. I'm gonna definitely need to edit this level. Here, let me go over this all right now, because I feel like I'm talking like I've said it all. But this is what's new in this build of the game. So there's the persona loadout system. It used to just be every persona would have 3 abilities, and there would be none of this secondary ability bullshit. But that's not fun. It really wasn't fun trying to keep track of, you know, what every single persona does and what all 3 abilities do and when to use SP and whatnot. So I really streamlined it with this system and made it, you know, more personable and more fun to make a loadout. Makoto and Sumire's levels, those are entirely new. In the build before, they did not exist. So, new 3 attack system. I haven't been talking about it a lot. I mentioned it earlier, but every character has 3 attacks, and they're consistent across every level. Used to not be like that. It used to just be kind of random, and it was not fun. It was a lot harder. This way, it's fair, and there's sort of a mastery that comes about it. 11 new playable personas. I had Holy Smoke, Pixie, Blasty, Hamsa. Yeah, I had those 4 in previous builds. I had to recode them for the loadout system, but Lamia, Jeff, Abraxas, Abraxas down are all new, which was a lot of work. The rework Showtime system, considerable, because it used to be based off of brick hits instead of time and brick destruction. So what you could do is you could just get a really, really low level persona that doesn't do a lot of contact damage, and just kind of instantly farm your showtime. It wasn't fun. It happened way too fast. This way, it's kind of more paced out, and it scales better different levels. Reworked third eye system. I already mentioned how that was reworked. It used to be accelerate, decelerate with up and down arrow keys, and now it's just you get to phase through bricks with up arrow key. New loadout rating system, which is this, that punctuates the different mechanics. Added autocast, which is when you press C, it automatically casts abilities if it can. I think I went over that one. Soul Stimulant, I showed that off. Smart Cast is autocast, except it only triggers when you hit a brick. So autocast can kind of fuck you over sometimes by just completely missing. You have to be wise when doing it. But Smart Cast is a little more generous. I think you get that at Persona loadout rating 7. Many new rework visuals. The bricks are completely different. This whole debug menu thing is completely different. All these things are different. Just so fucking much assets put into this build. Revised every playable level. This is actually why I wanted to read it, because Futaba's 5th level is the only level that I did not totally rework. New music, not this song that's playing right now, which is called Aria of Desire, but the Mementos music that plays over sets. It is the song that will be used for the Mementos levels, but I have it playing over the sets because, you know, it's high quality and it's what I have right now. And more. So, if you're in the development server, you can see every change I made in change logs, and I'm sure that you know that I've just been spamming the ever-living shit out of it for the past few months. So this is a lot of work. I'm gonna go Terminator. Terminator's awesome. And I'm gonna grab Forbidden Fruit. Actually, Reaper. Insta-kill is really fun, and it feels pretty balanced. So, yeah, Futaba's 5th level, I'm not really satisfied with. It's just a bunch of bricks everywhere. It's not horrible, but could be better. Now, Terminator's really cool. One of my favorite personas, this build. So instead of having SP costs to do his ability, it's a toggle. So let me toggle it on. If you don't have any SP, you will fire bullets that actually deal 1 damage to the bricks and to yourself. So you can see my HP going down steadily. But if you do have SP, you will fire blessed projectiles that deal double damage and don't deal any damage to you. So very powerful, you know, but risky. And his secondary ability plays into that. As you can tell, I just finished up the set there. I don't have enough HP to survive this, I don't think. Yeah, that's alright. I'll try again. But his secondary ability plays into the risky part of his primary, where it deals damage to you. If you're at 10 HP or lower, you'll get these explosions, dealing your persona loadout rating damage. So, you know, you could definitely maximize it. It scales with your loadout, which is really cool. And, you know, it high risk, high reward. Probably not the best for 5th levels like that because of all-out attacks. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to kind of cheese this. I'm going to grab Forbidden Fruit, show off Xanadine, and his secondary ability, which makes items fucking crazy. Suppose I'll just grab Set as well for some extra damage. But yeah, don't really like this level. So there's the void effect in action. You can see it's kind of displacing the bricks shader effect. Which is sort of just a cool, unintended visual. The system that I put in. I suppose there's no use in not using the ability now. So normally the Aegis just makes a little regular toast around you that eats some projectiles. It's just a little quirky thing. But with Forbidden Fruit, it's much, much stronger. And it's also huge. So it will kind of trivialize this all-out attack. And this is the Void Showtime. Just sucks everything and then destroys it. It's really cool. So you see how it's kind of just absorbing all those wind projectiles. I only have to deal with these force ones at the bottom. So I'm dashing through them, which allows me to dodge them for no damage. This one is more just a reaction one, this all-out attack. It's a little random, but you can no damage it consistently. I'm just not right now. The toast definitely helped, but it did go away, unfortunately. And there's Futaba's levels. Not much developed for that character yet, but that will change. This whole first tier of development was really focused on getting this gameplay down. I said this before, but long-term project, long-running game. Game should be fun. I'll be setting my sights on the Fatsona side of it pretty soon here. which includes, you know, starting to write all the characters properly, starting to draw the fucking like 70 plus renders I gotta do for it. It's some insane number, right? Like that. Getting in contact with voice work, all that kind of schnaz. It'll be very good. Very nice indeed. I'm gonna do Hamsa. I haven't played Hamsa at all. I don't know, I have. I just haven't done them well. So there we are. We're done with these three. Futaba took me a little while, and I did lose the 5th level once because I drained all my HP. Now Makoto clicks onto Sumire as I say Makoto. Makoto. If you know me, I don't like Makoto. I really don't. I think that she is the most overrated character in Persona 5 in any like media franchise ever. I really don't like her. I think that she is kind of a suck up, and the game portrays her as like this really like strong woman when she's just kind of a suck up. I think that it's undeserved, honestly. And I'm really not a fan. I'm not a fan of Makoto. But I want this game to be awesome. So of course I'm having Makoto in it, and of course I'll make her a good character. Now, I think what's missing for Makoto is, you know, unique conflict. You know, her parents are dead, and her sister can be mean, but, like, whatever. Every fucking character's parents are dead, it seems. So, where you pick up with Makoto in the Fatsona story is her kind of going through a really nasty breakup. And, you know, she's a very smart, erudite woman, young lady. But I don't think she is necessarily the most emotionally, you know, intelligent. So she doesn't have any sort of coping mechanisms for this really bad breakup, and she's just really hung up on it. Again, kind of realistic for this time period, you know, early 20s. So what you do is you sort of enter her life and show her that, you know, it's not so bad. Life's actually pretty sweet. And, you know, she progresses from there. I think it's interesting and realistic and kind of funny that I'm making her miserable at the start because I don't like her. Her time skip redesign is really snazzy. I really like it. It keeps the themes you're kind of familiar with. The headband is a little different. The black and white. But it's kind of just more, you know, grown up. A little more dressed up. Now I say I don't like Makoto. I don't hate her. I really don't hate her. I think it's funny to act like I hate her, like despise her. I just think that she was really sort of not written the best, and people acting like she's the best character is annoying, because I really, really disagree. I think Morgana is better than Makoto by, you know, leaps and bounds. But hopefully, you know, I'm able to get her to a spot I'm satisfied with. I also realized, unintentionally, I'm kind of blowing through her levels, because Hamsa is strong against Makoto. I didn't even think about that when I picked him as the persona. But yes, he's kind of a wrecking shit. Just have to get this last thing here. There we are, and we're on to our 4th level already. Yeah, I don't hate Makoto. She's definitely an interesting character. I just think that a lot of how she is portrayed is not deserved at all. So I'm gonna try to make her, you know, deserve that, a little bit of conflict. And I don't think that's necessarily bad or in bad taste. And to be fair, I do like her a lot more in Strikers. She seems to just be more of a nice person than trying to be like Oh, I'm the bitchy boss, you know? Which I appreciate. Shows some development. And that was a bug too. You're not supposed to get stuck in the ceiling. Yeah, let me just get this. So this is a cool level. Should have explained it properly, but basically there's these 3 different levels to it, and the last one are these indestructible gold platforms that you have to direct slice up over to get, or you could just launch an ability through. Little bit of freedom to tackle that last section there, but I like it. Makoto and Sumire's levels are definitely my favorite so far, and hopefully they only get better as we move past the early game and I'm able to, put a little more, danger into these builds. I'm gonna go Wojtek to just properly show off his heavy artillery. Let me just show it to you all. So it's 6 SP, and it pierces bricks for 4 damage, which is good on itself, but it also destroys set extras. Now, set extras are the things like the gates, and yeah, as you can see, Makoto is very heavy on all that, which I think is kind of a nice little nod to her being the group's tactician. So, just third eye up through that. This is a tricky level. Oh, and her set extra, probably should mention, kind of plays into the whole thing of, a lot of gates up. It releases these bouncing balls that can really fuck you over. Every time you destroy a brick, it releases bouncing balls, and the amount depends on how far you are into her levels. So I haven't really done a good job showcasing Wojtek's ability here, I realize. But that's alright. We're getting through the level at a pretty good pace. Should have brought the apple instead of the Chai Book's chai tea. Because I'm gonna die at her all-out attack. Might die here. Oh, there we go. Her all-out attack is probably my favorite one. So you see the little balls to the left and right of the knife prevent me from dashing. So you have to manually weave your way in between these seeking nuke projectiles. It's really fun, because more and more spawn as the attack goes on, and it gets pretty intense, and I die to any one of these, yep. Damn. So I'm going to want a supportive one. I'm going to go Forbidden Fruit, Gapple. Let's get Hyperion in here, I think. You know what? With Forbidden Fruit and Gapple, you're really able to control what your health gets at. So I'm also going to grab Terminator here so that the explosions happen a lot. So my plan will be to kind of just get low on health, proc the Warcry, proc the Terminator explosion, the Crusade, and then I could just sort of heal myself. Now, what Forbidden Fruit does for Golden Apple is that it replenishes itself every 15 seconds. So, proc a little bit of Warcry here, finish it off with the projectile. Again, you would probably not have any of these personas by the time you're doing this level, so it will be a lot more challenging. But I'll try to make sure that's not impossible. Now, I realized that I didn't proc the Terminator at all, but, that's fine that we didn't even get that low HP. So one more go at this, and then we'll go on to Sumire. Some final words about Koto. I know that she is a lot of people's favorite characters, so I will really try my best to make her, awesome. Not make it show that she is my least favorite character in the game. So if you're worried about that. There we go. That's her all-out attack. I like that level. And now we're on to Sumire. Sumire is hard. How you unlock her in the final game is you have to beat all previous 4 of those levels. So you will have some good personas in your arsenal at that point. And some experience. Now that's not supposed to happen. All right. I'm glad that I'm doing this recording before I put the build out, because this is not supposed to happen. It's supposed to say done like everyone else. Okay, that's really strange. But it still says her time and losses. That is very odd. But she is not Futaba. This is Sumire. I did her time skip redesign very, very recently. I'm gonna do her monthly one-off pretty shortly here. But like Futaba, not so developed in terms of a premise for a story yet. But I have a general idea. I want her to be doing something new with her life. Her whole sort of character arc was learning, like, to be herself, you know? Accepting that she is an individual. You know, writing for Sumire is hard because of all the characters, she has probably the most unrealistic backstory with the whole spoilers mind control thing, you know? But I think sort of approaching it at the angle of, you know, she did do gymnastics and she was really prestigious at it, but then she kind of just hung it up because she was satisfied with it and she, you know, started to want to do something of her own. I think that's realistic and it makes sense for her character. And her sort of overall character narrative of, you know, being yourself. And that was awesome. That was a Wojtek's secondary ability coming in for the very last brick. It's why it's my favorite secondary ability, probably. I was using Jeff there, Force Persona. Now Jeff is Jeff the Mongoose, which is this legend of a talking mongoose that is supposedly the 8th wonder of the world. I made him a persona because I think that fits. There's a lot of personas that I just think would be good personas that I've included that aren't necessarily just whamming. Like Jeff, like Wojtek. There's Bigfoot, there's Yeti, there's UFO Mothership, which is another Force persona. There's Gaia, which is an Earth persona. But of course, there will be some whamming personas, as Squishgum would say. There's the Venus of Willendorf, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. Shit. Yeah, Sumere's attacks are hard, which is why I say that her set is hard. Her set extra is also pretty strong. It's this chromatic orb thing in the middle. It heals all bricks around it. So if you don't do damage quick enough, you will basically not be doing any damage at all. Now, there's a theoretical bug with this, because every time a brick takes its sort of designated third health, it gets smaller. So, theoretically, if you take long enough, the brick can just keep on shrinking with the chromatic orb healing. I will probably have to fix that with other sets being able to heal more rapidly. But as you can see, like, these are already getting smaller. This one, these are the same HP, but this one's smaller right now. So, theoretical bug, just now thought of. Probably won't happen this set because, well, I think I'm about to be done. See Chai herself sitting on HP bar. That is, of course, is Blasty's character. Guest artist Blasty. Yeah, I guess that's another persona sort of trope I got. Just guest artists and their OCs. You know, I got some really exciting ones. I got Famish. I got Tai Tai. Sort of getting a little bit of a Smash Brothers sort of collab here with all these fetish artists being included in this game. There's also some items and some other references and even a couple characters, like full-on characters. Hope you're all looking forward to that. If you're involved or familiar with the community, you'll probably be like as excited with this game when it's all out and all the references that I put in, which I just think is cool. I'm trying to make this the biggest love letter to this community I could possibly make it, because I owe everything to you guys, you know? I realize that the commentary is kind of slowing down a bit, but, you know, we're almost done. We're on to Sumire's 3rd level. I'm going to go to a better persona, actually. I'm going to go one that I haven't played this build before, Queen Frost. Now, Holy Smoke and Queen Frost, their secondary abilities are coded, but they don't have an effect in this build. Holy Smoke gets a big boost at the end of the game because he's the first persona you start out with, and Queen Frost gets stronger pretty much for every Jack in the loadout. So Jack Frost, there's a Smack Frost, there's Jacked Frost, there's Spring Healed Jack. You could use any of those in the loadout and she'll get benefits from it, but because none of these are Jacks or Frosts, she doesn't get any, but I'll play her because her ability's good. Well, I hope you've been enjoying this gameplay showcase. If you want to check it out, of course, the build will be posted by the time I put this out, and I'll be fixing some of the bugs that I discovered during this playtest. Or this commentary, not playtest. This is a commentary. This is supposed to be professional. But yeah, if you want to check it out, feel free to join up the Patreon. It'll get you access to the development server. Hopefully I'll be able to put out a free build for you guys soon enough here. Just not this one, because I know that the development server has been waiting a while, and it is Fatsona Day after all. It is the anniversary, so I want to give them something special along with you guys. And hopefully this little dev commentary is, you know, special enough. So here's the ice showtime. It summons all these ice trees, inspired by, I think, Wufudine making ice trees. They kind of just explode. Very, very, very strong showtime. Probably the strongest one. It's pretty much just an instant win. But yeah, feel free to join up Patreon if you want to play this build and keep up with the development of it. If not, that's fine. The game will be free when it's all done, and I'm looking to put a free build out here pretty soon. Probably will be a better one than this one, so I don't mind you if you don't want to spend your money. But the support is appreciated. And for legal reasons, your money is going towards the monthly one-off benefit, not the game access. It's just like a little cute little secondary benefit, you know? Like, I would never ask for money for a fan game using intelligences that are not of my own. I would never do that, Atlas. We're on to Sumire's 5th level. That was sarcasm, by the way. Please don't sue me. But yes, the $10 Patreon tier gives you access to the monthly one-off picks that I do for this, which are exclusive. But again, those will be released for free once the game is out. And I already put a few up on my DeviantArt if you're following that. And it'll also get you access to the development server. You know, you can play this build today. Wow. You can tell me how fucking horrible and confusing it is, and then just watch the video again, because I'm the only person that knows how to play the game. So this is level 5. This is the last level of this build. So I'll just go crazy with it. Reaper is a very good persona. You instantly deal damage to bricks you hit. I'm just gonna try to beat this as fast as possible. Just for the funsies. I like Void Tech. There we are. You know, just for the funsies. So that was very quick. As you can see, we're almost done already. But that's what happens when you take a end game persona into early game set. And also Curse is strong against Sumire, so double E is good. Now, the inverse of that is that these blessed projectiles will fuck me up. And this is her all-out attack, which is another really good one. It's very hard. It's like a Futaba's where... Oh, God! It's like Futaba's where it's very much dash-oriented, reaction-based. But just to another degree. And there we go. That was the last level. Thank you, everyone, for watching, if you actually sat through all that. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. Hopefully my mic picked up all this. That was quite long. I didn't time it. But I feel like that was, you know, a pretty thorough examination of the build. Let me know what you think. Thank you, everyone, for supporting. I really, from the bottom of my heart, I'm so glad that I could be doing this project for you all. I hope that I can make it something special. And I know that sort of having the first year of development dedicated to the gameplay of a fetish game is kind of lame because, you know, it's fetish artist, you know, you're expecting to see fetish content, but it's really important to me to get these fundamental, foundational gameplay systems up and running, and I'm personally really satisfied with how they all came together for this build, and hopefully for the future as well. And I hope, you know, it doesn't look boring, or it's not too complicated. Well, anyways, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your support again, whether you're pledged to the Patreon and in the development server or not. Just all the kind words that I've gotten about this project, and man, it's just been a wonderful year, and I'm really just grateful to be working on this. Little plans for the future, because I mentioned that I'll do it. I'm just going to run through Haru's levels with these overpowered personas. Because I mentioned that I would say what's in store for the future of this game. Well, those sort of familiar with my musings would know that there's an original character in this game. There's two, actually. I actually posted a picture of one of them, Victoria, but the other one is Bethial. And she is the queen of mementos in the Fatsona Breakout story. So mementos makes this reemergence, and that's where you meet Bethial. The next build, version 0.31, will most likely be focused on how mementos will play. I'm picturing a lot of these sort of sets, with very special win conditions and rewards. I just totally let that drop. $53,000 as well. So the next build will probably be focused on that. Maybe I'll throw in some more personas and do like either Shiho or Hifumi's levels, because they're the next ones out. Following that, for the next major build at least, I want to get menus all sorted out. So this is just a very overloaded debug menu for this build. But it'll all be sectioned off, so there will be like a Velvet Room equivalent called the Scarlet Room, where you'll be able to assign your showtime and persona loadout, and where you'll be able to see like all of the personas like in detail, similar to the game. There's going to be a shop where you buy items and, you know, equip items and all that kind of jazz. Mementos menu leads you to the Mementos missions, and then, you know, character select, settings. I definitely want to get the menus down before I start shifting focus towards writing for the social events and, you know, drawing for the social events. And after that, I guess it's just sort of, you know, more of what I've been doing. Kind of the easy stuff. Because I'm satisfied with all the core gameplay mechanics, at least, except for follow-up, which I did not even mention because I know I'm going to change that. Since I'm satisfied with all these mechanics now, it's just a matter of adding on to it, making all the characters levels, making the rest of the personas and, their abilities, more showtime tiers, more items. It's just figuring that stuff out, which is just totally easy. And I'm really happy that after only a year, I'm kind of at that point of development. After the Mementos missions, of course, figuring all that stuff out, but that's sort of minor, and it is technically just more of the same, more just sets. Um, but after all that's said and done, after that kind of just mass adding of personas and finishing up all the characters' levels, insta kill proc twice. That is three. Holy shit! Wow. All right. I love life. After all that's said and done, after all the personas are coded, all the levels are coded, and all the menus are coded, probably within this year, I will start work on the social events, which is the exciting fetish content that I'm sure you are all waiting for eagerly. And believe me, I am very, very, very excited to start working on all that stuff. I've put a lot of thought into the overarching story, even if the individual characters aren't as thought out right now. But that's so weird that Makoto's isn't working, but Sumire's is, because their code is exactly the same. It's just anyways, thank you all for watching. If I should do more of these, let me know. Happy Fatsona Day, everybody. And thank you. I'm looking forward to continuing to work on this game.